The first step towards anything new always seems like the toughest, but I'm going to show you how you already know how to swim. Now all you have to do is jump. You've got this. Evaluation is something that social workers do naturally. We start assessing when a client walks through the door. Evaluation is just knowing the order in which to do things and to do things orderly. Case notes, care plans, and other paperwork is something we all dread, but it is a necessary evil in so many ways. The point is, you all know how to do them. That's the good news. You may use SOAP notes or DAP notes or just progress notes that you take in your own way, but we basically all collect the same information in order to assess the client and plan treatment. A care plan is the basis for a single subject design. You need to have an assessment, goals, objectives, and know the steps of the intervention. The only thing that's lacking is what you're going to use to measure whether or not the goal is being met. In single subject design, things are a bit more specific because we're going to actually capture change. Of course, all social workers do that, right? Well, not really. The first thing that we do is the assessment. From there, we decide what the goal is going to be and the objectives on how we're going to meet that goal. An intervention is decided upon. Of course, we hope that's evidence-based. And then we determine how it is that we're going to actually capture whether or not change happens. After we measure it, then we can analyze it. Measurement is always tricky in practice because there's so little time and the measurement can be quite a distraction, especially if the instrument being used isn't specific to your client. Well, there are a few ways around that. Most folks know that there are scales out there like the Beck's Depression Inventory, but some aren't so familiar with self-anchored scales for repeated measures. For folks that aren't from the South, the liquid on the left is molasses. It's thick and gooey and it smells pretty bad. Well, if you ask me, who is from the South, what my very worst day was like, I might say it feels like I'm walking in molasses. If you ask me what my very best day is like, I might say I feel like I'm floating in the clouds. Now, every time you see me, you can ask, so was it like walking in molasses or floating in the clouds? That might seem pretty lightweight for measurement. Well, actually, it's been found to be as effective to ask a single question that's self-identified as many longer validated scales. The important thing here is you both know the language and exactly what it means. Floating in the clouds for me and maybe a day at the beach for you. We both have the same visceral connection that deems it great or horrible, but call it a different thing. We used to have clients keep journals or logs. I don't know about you, but I've been at this self-improvement thing for 25 years and have yet to be able to keep a journal. Nowadays, there's a solution for that. We all carry around smartphones, and there are mood trackers and other apps that are very helpful for folks to keep track of what's going on for them. The T2 Tracker is a helpful app. A reminder can be set so the client interacts with the app one or more times daily. The client can either use the included scale or a new one can be created with his or her self-anchored scale. Notes can also be added in order to know what precipitated the feelings, but that isn't mandatory. When the client comes into the office, you can review the data with him or her. So there you have it. You are already the star single subject designer that you always wanted to be. Okay, not quite. We're now going to be getting into the details, but you're off to a great start.